You're listening to the Small and Supercharged podcast with Ria Freeman, episode 8. Welcome to today's episode. Now, I'm really excited about this one. I know I keep saying that, but I am just excited about the podcast. And let's be honest, I'm only sharing really cool things with you that I'm excited about, and also people that I just find so interesting and so inspiring. So each week I'm likely to say I'm really excited, but I am. So today I'm going to talk to you about Instagram stories. I love Instagram stories, so much so I use them every day, and I've actually created a little freebie. So if you nip onto my website, riafreemanpr.co.uk/freebies, you can download a little guide, which is 5 ways to use Instagram stories, which is just a free PDF to give you a little bit of inspiration. Because personally, I love an Instagram story. I think they're really useful. I love being able to connect with my audience that way. And I think they're really, really powerful for any brand or business. So obviously, the stories are the part that when you click on your face, they show little snippets. And these can be 15-second videos. They can be still images. They can be boomerangs. They can be super zooms. They can be various different things that you pick depending on what you want to show or the story that you want to tell. The thing is, they're really easy to consume. They can be really, really fun, and they allow people to get to know the real you. So if you think about Instagram, you have the grid, which is usually a very carefully curated version. So I know with my grid, I only try and put the best images of myself on there, or of products I'm talking about, or quotes I have designed through Canva and things like that. So when I'm putting together the images for my grid, I am picking the best to show a snapshot, and I want my whole grid to look good as well as the individual pictures. But in the story, because it's only there for 24 hours, I can be a lot more creative. I can talk like I'm talking to a friend, because I am. And I do a lot of my Instagram stories when I'm walking the dog, I'll be perfectly honest, because I normally got a bit of time on my hands when I'm walking, nice scenery, and I can kind of let my mind unravel a little bit. Now, I'm not saying you have to talk on your Instagram stories when you're walking the dog, but I'm just saying when people say that their house or whatever isn't very Instagrammable, I do it when I'm walking the dog. I do it when I'm outside. I do it when I'm in the car. I just make it work for me. So first of all, I think we need to get away from the fact that whilst our grid is very carefully curated, the beauty of our stories is they aren't. They should be, in my opinion, uncut, unedited snippets that allow people to get to know the real you better. So this is the kind of thing, from my point of view, I know that in my stories, I'm 110% genuine. And if people have a coaching call with me, if they meet me in person, I am exactly as I am in my stories. I am that quirky, because what's the point in hiding it? I'm really beyond that. It also allows me to get to talk about things that are important to me. So maybe this is something that I've put into a blog. Obviously, I promote the podcast on my Instagram stories. But it allows me to show behind the scenes of things. So maybe if I am faffing about with a flat lay, I could actually take an Instagram story or a number of Instagram stories of me faffing around and creating the flat lay to also show that that it's not just picture perfect, because life isn't picture perfect. But obviously on my feed, I want something that looks like it's kind of well put together. The great thing as well is that an Instagram story can take you seconds to do. So it's easy to get to Instagram stories. I apologise if it sounds like I'm teaching you to suck eggs, but I want you to get the most out of this podcast. So when you open the app, you tap on the home button, tap the camera at the top, and then you're in your Instagram story setting. Now, these do move around a little bit, but there's type, which is obviously for type. There's live, because you can live stream from Instagram, which is kind of different to stories. It's put in a slightly different place. It's still in the stories area, but normally when you tap on it, if you've done a story, it'll ask people if they want to see your live broadcast or if they want to see your story. You can do normal, which you can do for stills or for short video clips. Boomerang, which is the one where it plays a short video clip backwards and forwards. Focus you can use, which is good for portraits. Super Zoom. There used to be a hands-free option too. There still might be. There used to also be music, which isn't there anymore. Well, not on mine, but I do believe some people do still have it on their non-business accounts. But mine, I've got Super Zoom, Focus, I've got Rewind, which obviously plays something backwards, and it does still have hands-free. So if you're doing a video and you don't want to have your fingers stuck to the button all the time, you can do that. There did used to be other options, I say, but they aren't there anymore. The good thing is as well, you can use your camera roll story. So if you wanted to, for example, do a stop motion video and you couldn't use that because it did used to have a stop motion function within the app, you could record the video, a stop motion style video, separately using another app, and then you could import it as long as it's the right length. So how do you use them in Instagram stories? However you want. But 5 really easy ways. Behind the scenes, brilliant for behind the scenes stuff. So this can be I normally do it when I'm walking the dog, but you can do it maybe picking images for your next photo, for your next campaign, for your next catalogue, maybe putting a catalogue together, maybe showing fabric samples if you're a clothing designer, maybe showing sketches of things that you have started to work on, speaking to your audience and asking them the kind of things that they like. You can show your office space, your office dogs, your horses around a farm. You can show the inspiration behind your designs, your work. If you're more of a kind of lifestyle mummy blogger, you can obviously show things like your kids in the park or kids doing things. So again, it's literally following you around in your daily life. So at the moment, I'm sort of sat here, obviously, at my desk recording my podcast. So if I wanted to do behind the scenes of this, I might record a short video of me talking to my microphone. I haven't actually done this, but I could do that. I could take a picture of the microphone plugged into the computer. I could get all that set up. I could maybe even show the editing of the podcast, which I don't actually do. My husband does, but still. I could show me creating the graphic for the podcast, which I do, uploading it to Libsyn, the processing process. All of these things would actually create a really nice behind the scenes story of the podcast that not only help to actually promote the podcast, but help to show all the work that goes into it too. So there's some really cool things there that you could do. Specific things, you've got going to the graphic designers could be a really cool thing, visiting a factory or going on a photo shoot. So you can actually do little behind the scenes snippets. So behind the photographer, sorting out people's kits, speaking to the models. There's loads you can do here. Again, don't be limited. These are just ideas I'm just chucking at you so you can have a little think about it. It's allowing people to get to know you better. Something I do a lot is I share a thought. So when I'm walking the dog, I usually just start rambling about something. So it might be like a deep thought that I've had. It might be about a marketing campaign I've seen. It might be that I want to talk to you about a podcast that I'm promoting, or that I want to talk to you about a blog, or a friend of mine who's doing something really cool, or anything like that. They don't all have to be deep and meaningful. I'm so tempted today to do an Instagram story about the fact that my favourite socks have got a hole in, which is so not a big deal. But, I mean, it is a big deal. I really like the socks. But the point is that it allows people to get to know me a little bit better. And it's also very relatable. I'm sure a lot of people have put their favourite socks on and their toe has gone through the toe. But it doesn't always have to be about selling something. It's filling in the gaps. It's painting a picture. It's putting all the padding around you and what makes you tick. The process is a really cool thing as well. I've seen some amazing videos, particularly stop motion, but also like speed cleaning style videos. So speeded up videos, slow motion videos, stop motion videos that show packaging. I'm obsessed with packaging anyway, as we all know, but showing a product be packed up is really, really cool to me, especially when people put a lot of energy and oomph into it. So you can see that they're folding the tissue paper. I've actually seen quite a lot of these videos, but I'm completely blank on different people now. But that's a really fun thing to show. If you are a different kind of creator, so maybe you don't have packaging in this way, but if you make a product, you could show the cutting of the pattern. You could show the design process from literally a piece of paper and a pencil all the way through to the different fabric swatches, putting them together, sampling, trying, testing, all those things. If you're a blogger or a vlogger, you could even talk about the process that goes around creating that piece of content. So if you have a blog and you interview people, you can show that idea. You can maybe show how you brainstorm ideas. There's so many different aspects you can bring in that show the process of what you do. The example I gave about the behind the scenes for the podcast would actually work really well, also from a showing the process kind of point of view too. Another really good thing about Instagram is the stickers. So when you've recorded your video or your snapshot or whatever, you go up to the top and there's a little sticker icon. If you press on that, there's lots of different options in there. You can also add GIFs and emojis and all sorts there. But there's a few things that actually increase the interactive aspects of Instagram. One of these is the questions. So you can have a question sticker, you can type in what you want people to ask you about, and people can then directly reply to that rather than sending you a direct message. And that will appear and in your story. When you look at it, if you swipe up, it'll have all the questions there, which you can then answer to, which kind of fulfills itself by creating more content, which is brilliant. You can also run a poll. So these are really simple. It can be a yes or no answer, or you can add different answers, to different questions. So often it'll be, should I buy this? Yes, hell yes. And it's quite a fun way of getting people to engage with your content. And again, showing them what's going on. You're making it easier for them to speak to you. I know I'll press a yes or a no or a whatever, where actually I wouldn't have put the time in to probably write a direct message telling them, just because, we're all busy. It's a really fast-paced life that we live now. So anything like that can help. And the final way from the 5 I want to talk to you about today is just blatantly showing what's new in your world. Yes, content marketing and content creation and Instagram and social media shouldn't all be about the hard sell. But there is a time when it's fine to tell people that you're selling stuff. It's the whole jab, 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 right hook, I think. You want to add value and think about how you can help support your fans and followers without always saying, this is a new thing, buy it. Because to be honest, that just gets a bit boring. Show people the new products or a new service you're working on. But don't just kind of say, look at this, buy it. Tell them why it's cool. Take them on a journey. Tell them how much you love the product, why you created the product, why you're selling the product. Help them get inspired about it. I know on my feed, when I talk about products that I've kindly been gifted or that I've bought, people are a lot more enthused than if I just showed a picture going, earrings, buy them. Because what does that bring to the party? But if I'm showing you how I might wear something or why I love something or some cool features about something, that's much more likely to get people engaged and interested. Also now with Instagram, you can have shoppable links, which is cool too. So there are 5 really, really easy ways to utilize Instagram stories. We've got behind the scenes, sharing a thought, showing a process, running a poll or asking a question, and showing people what's new. Of course, there are loads of different ways you can use Instagram stories, but please do. The great thing is you can record what you think you want to share. You can take a picture, and if you don't like it, just press on the cross and it's deleted. But do have a go. You can share images you've already taken. You can share images you've already edited if you want. You can do whatever you want to do, but don't underestimate the power of it. Another really good thing is you can hide hashtags in it. So like when you hashtag your content for your grid, you can also add hashtags to your Instagram stories, which gives you the chance of being visible when people look at that hashtag. if you go and look at a hashtag now, if it's one that someone's used and tagged in an Instagram story, you'll see a little circle at the top with a colour around it. And if you tap on that, that will show you people's stories that have used the hashtag. So this is a really good way to get you a little bit more reach and make you and your account more discoverable. But the thing is that hashtags on a beautiful story or a lovely video can look ugly as sin. But the good thing is you can just hide them. So shrink them down, use a colour match tool, shove them behind an emoji or a GIF, and they become invisible to the naked eye. That's probably something I need to go on about more in another episode where I'm going to talk about hashtags in more detail. But for now, just think about how you can actually utilise hashtags within your stories without it affecting the overall aesthetic and anything else you want to achieve. So I hope you've really got something out of this episode. I honestly love Instagram stories. I find them so useful, so interesting. I love watching them as much as I love making them. Go and have a look at mine if you want a little bit of inspiration. I'm at Ria Freeman PR. And also, if you've listened to this podcast, I love it when people tag me and tell me that they're listening. I love seeing where they're listening. I love all of this. And if you've used any of the tips you've picked up today, do let me know. Do tag me in your stories, and I'll more than likely share them unless they're, indecent or anything like that. Thanks so much for listening. And if you've liked the podcast, please feel free to leave a little review or subscribe or tell a friend, and I'd be really, really grateful. Thanks so much, and we'll catch up soon. Take care.